It was the last night I spent with Bella. She seemed particularly unrestrained. By the end, I hadn't even managed to get dressed again when she held out a credit card to me. "I'm getting married next month," she stated flatly. "He doesn't want to see you anymore, Julian. Leave Springfield and don't come back." "Yeah, okay," I replied quietly, taking the card she offered. Bella looked slightly surprised, maybe even suspicious. "You're not going to cause any problems, are you?" I managed a small smile and shook my head. "No, I won't." It was common knowledge that I had been deeply devoted to Bella. I spent 5 years trying to win her over, patiently waiting as she went through several other relationships, all for the chance to be close to her. I was the one who would do anything for her, from protecting her if needed to simply cooking her favorite meals. Because of this history, nobody really thought I could just stand by and watch her marry someone else. Bella herself seemed skeptical. Some people even whispered worries that I might try to disrupt her wedding. What they didn't know, however, was that I had already agreed to my father's request to return home. I was scheduled for a blind date he had arranged. Except, when I found myself sitting in the designated cafe, looking at 2 identical attractive faces, I was genuinely taken aback. 2 of them? That didn't seem quite right. Lying on the soft bed later, I remembered that night. Bella was above me, her forehead damp with perspiration, her gaze intense and steady. She always insisted on keeping the lights on during moments like these. I faintly recalled the very first time we were together. I had been so flustered I could hardly meet her eyes. She had kissed my cheek, then laughing softly. "Aren't you the one who's supposed to be madly in love with me?" she teased. "Why are you being so shy now?" 3 years had passed since then. I had grown accustomed to her more demanding nature in private. But we were approaching the end of our time together. That final night, Bella was unusually forceful. While she was never particularly gentle, this time felt rougher than usual. When it was over, I felt completely drained, unable to even lift my arms. She leaned back against the headboard, slowly sipping a drink. After resting for a while, I started gathering my clothes from the floor. Before I could get dressed, her slightly husky voice reached me. "I'm getting married next month. He doesn't want to see you anymore." She put her glass down and handed me the credit card. "There's 10 million on this, Julian. Leave Springfield and don't ever come back." My fingers clutching my shirt tightened involuntarily, my knuckles whitening. A wave of bitterness washed over me. I closed my eyes for a moment, fighting back the urge to show any emotion. I took the card and simply said, "Okay." My easy agreement seemed to make her frown again. "You're not going to make a scene?" I forced a gentle smile and shook my head. "No, I won't." She had been distant recently, so I had mentally prepared myself for a breakup. Still, a part of me had hoped Bella genuinely cared for me, at least a little. That hope shattered the very next evening. I happened to be near a club she frequented and overheard a conversation between her and some friends. One friend asked, "Did you really break up with Julian? He's so dedicated to you." "It's only been him for the last 3 years. We all thought you might even defy your family to marry him." Bella fiddled with a lighter, laughing dismissively. "Marry him? What are you thinking? He's not suitable marriage material for me." The disdain in her voice was clear, and her friends exchanged glances in silence. Another friend questioned somewhat doubtfully, "If you didn't love him, why did you keep him around for so long?" Bella raised an eyebrow. "He's clean, obedient, and doesn't cause trouble. It was just convenient, easier than finding someone else." Standing just outside the slightly ajar door, I felt a profound chill, as if ice water had been thrown over me. It was true, I was obedient. I couldn't stand the thought of causing her any displeasure. If she told me to go east, I went east. If she told me to stand, I stood. In 3 years, I'd only shown my frustration twice. Once was when I found lipstick on her shirt that wasn't hers. The other time was when I saw a male celebrity letting her sit on his lap. Both times, I simply disappeared for a few days without a word. And both times, Bella resolved the situation by cutting ties with the other person involved. For someone usually so proud and aloof, she had actually explained things patiently to me. Back then, they came on to me. I didn't encourage it, she'd said. "Julian, since I've been with you, I haven't been with anyone else. Stop making things difficult. Come home with me." People described her as arrogant and headstrong, so those small moments of consideration made me mistakenly believe she might have real feelings for me. But now I understood, our relationship was never about love, not for her. It was simply because I was low maintenance. My devotion over 3 years had been based entirely on my own wishful thinking. Realizing this, what reason was there to hold on to anything? I booked a flight back to Liberty City. Before leaving, however, I went to a friend's birthday party. I didn't expect to see Bella there, arm in arm with Arthur, laughing brightly as they chatted. He playfully pinched her waist, and she responded by leaning in, appeasing him with a soft voice I'd never heard her use before. She gently held his face and kissed his lips until his slight frown disappeared. I had never witnessed Bella act like that, all her usual intensity gone, replaced with affectionate deference. I could never be that casual around her, and she would certainly never lower herself to coax me that way. Our significantly different social standings always meant I was in the subordinate position. Arthur, however, was different. His background matched hers. He wouldn't be looked down upon the way I was. An overwhelming sense of bitterness rose in my chest, and my eyes started to sting. Just then, Bella happened to look in my direction. Our eyes met unexpectedly, and her expression froze for a second. Feeling awkward and exposed, I quickly turned away, trying to push down the ache in my heart. Later during the party, I was sitting by the pool, lost in thought. A clear male voice spoke from above me. "Why haven't you left Springfield yet?" I turned to see Arthur looking down at me with arrogance. Not satisfied with 10 million? Still trying to hang around Bella, he continued. "Julian, I know your type, thinking your looks can get you into high society. Do you really believe someone of your background belongs with people like us?" People from wealthy families often had this inherent sense of superiority. I had no interest in arguing with Arthur. I just wanted to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. "Why aren't you answering?" Feeling guilty, his tone was spoiled and demanding. "I'm warning you, give up any ideas about Bella. You're no better than hired company, just haggling over the price." His words were harsh and cut deeply. My chest hurt. I tried forcefully to pull my arm away. "Let go. Go bother someone else." In the brief struggle, he lost his balance and stumbled backward, falling into the pool with a loud splash. "Help! I can't swim," he yelled, thrashing in the water. I couldn't swim either, so I watched nervously as he struggled. Fortunately, one of Bella's bodyguards quickly jumped in and pulled him out. As soon as he was out of the water, Arthur clung to Bella, complaining. "Julian pushed me in. He almost killed me." I started to defend myself. I didn't mean to, but before I could finish, Bella cut me off sharply. "Julian, apologize." Her gaze was cold like knives. "Are you trying to cause serious trouble? Arthur is incredibly influential. If anything happened to him, you couldn't afford the consequences in 100 lifetimes." I had cared for Bella for 8 years, been with her for 3, shared so much intimacy. But in her eyes, this is what I amounted to. I fought to control my emotions. "I told you I didn't mean it," I said, my voice strained. He wouldn't let go of me. I just tried to pull away, and he slipped. Arthur, still clinging to Bella's sleeve, cried out, "Bella, don't listen to him. He's just trying to avoid responsibility." Bella believed him. Her eyes narrowed as she commanded, "I'll say it one more time. Julian, apologize to Arthur. Otherwise, you can forget about taking that 10 million and leaving Springfield." I couldn't believe she would threaten me like this. I didn't want to give in, but if the affection was gone, I couldn't afford to lose the money. Too, could I? Swallowing the lump in my throat, I forced out the words, "I'm sorry. I hope you can overlook this." After saying that, I turned and walked away immediately. Behind me, I heard one of Bella's friends whisper, "Bella used to say Julian was sweet, but he can be scary when pushed. He loved you so much. Getting dumped like this might mess with his head. You should probably have extra security at your wedding, just in case he tries something." Bella murmured something in agreement. I kept walking, feeling a deep sense of hurt. Along with that pain, any remaining attachment I had to Bella began to fade. This time, I knew I could leave without any lingering doubts. A few days after returning to Liberty City, my dad started urging me to go on blind dates. He woke me up early one morning, reminding me as I left the house to make a good impression and try to secure a match quickly. I couldn't help but laugh. "Dad, I'm only 27, not 37. What's the big rush?" My dad had his reasons. "Good potential partners are hard to find," he insisted. "If you don't act fast, you'll be left with limited options. Understand." He assured me that the person I was meeting today was a real catch. However, when I sat down in the cafe and saw 2 identical faces across from me, I realized 1 in a million wasn't quite accurate. It was more like 2 in a million. Although they looked alike, their styles were completely different. The younger sister, Lily, wore a black leather jacket, had facial piercings and silver-dyed hair, giving her an edgy look. The older sister, Grace, was dressed in a dark gray business suit with neatly styled black hair, projecting the image of a successful executive. I was a bit confused. So which one of you is my date? Lily grinned playfully. It's both of us, she said. Think of it as a 2-for-1 deal. You're quite lucky. I wasn't sure how to respond. Grace shot Lily a warning glance. Lily, be quiet. Don't scare Mr. Julian. Lily mimed, zipping her lips shut. Then Grace turned back to me with a gentle smile. Mr. Julian, both my sister and I are interested in getting to know you. If you're open to it, perhaps you could spend some time getting to know both of us, and then see who you connect with better later on. How does that sound? Lily added cheekily. Of course, if you decide you want both of us, I'm okay with that too. Grace gave her another look, and Lily quickly added, just kidding. Honestly, I found both of them appealing in different ways, but dating 2 people simultaneously, wasn't that a bit complicated? My mother had a different perspective when I mentioned it later. If they don't mind, why should you? Just see how things go. It's not like you're losing anything. As I spent more time with the sisters, being with both of them started to feel surprisingly normal. Lily's unpredictable comments still caught me off guard sometimes. For instance, when we were all shopping together, a guy approached and asked for their phone numbers. Lily tilted her chin towards me and said, Sorry, too late. He's the one my sister and I are both interested in. The guy stared at me, clearly astonished, then said, Wow, man, you've got it made. I'm jealous. I wished I could disappear. Even as he walked away, he kept glancing back. I sighed. Lily, could you maybe tone it down a bit? Lily just laughed. Weren't you enjoying that? They were incredibly envious. I didn't know what to say. Thankfully, Grace always managed the situation. Lily, if you keep teasing Julian, I'll cut the funding for your racing team next quarter. Lily immediately backed down. No way. I'm sorry, okay. In her racing circle, Lily was clearly the leader, but when it came to Grace, she was completely obedient. And Grace, though 2 years younger than me, possessed an impressive maturity. She seemed focused entirely on her career, managing the family business with competence. Honestly, their parents must be very proud to have such capable daughters. Meanwhile, back in Springfield, as the wedding date neared, Bella seemed increasingly agitated. Even while trying on wedding dresses with Arthur, her thoughts were clearly elsewhere. Bella, what are you thinking about? Arthur had to call her name several times before she responded with a distracted, what? Arthur frowned, looking concerned. What do you think of this wedding dress? It's nice, she replied vaguely. Frustrated, Arthur couldn't help but ask, were you thinking about Julian just now, Bella? Someone from his ordinary background isn't worth your attention. Arthur was the favored son in his family and had always been somewhat indulged by Bella. It was almost expected that people of their social standing would marry within their circle. Compared to marrying a complete stranger, Bella found the idea of marrying Arthur, whom she had known since childhood, more palatable. Even if she couldn't reciprocate his feelings fully, she felt she could protect and care for him if anyone tried to cause him trouble. She wouldn't hesitate to defend him. Faced with Arthur's suspicion, Bella smoothed things over. I was just thinking about where we should go for our honeymoon, she lied. Not about anyone else. After successfully reassuring Arthur, they finished with the wedding attire and went for dinner. Later, after dropping Arthur home, she drove around aimlessly, eventually finding herself near the apartment building where I used to live. She hadn't told Arthur the truth. She had indeed been thinking about me at the bridal shop. In fact, since I left 20 days ago, thoughts of me constantly surfaced in her mind. She knew I had genuinely loved her. I had pursued her for 5 years, undeterred by rejection. 3 years ago, during that shooting incident in Australia, I had shielded her without a second thought. That act had moved her, prompting her to give our relationship a chance. Over the 3 years we were together, she admitted to herself that she did develop some affection for me. I was consistently kind and considerate, but that affection never grew into love. She never seriously considered marrying me. My family background was simply too different from hers. Even if she found herself thinking about me frequently lately, she rationalized it wasn't love, just the result of being accustomed to having me around. Sitting in her car, an idea struck her. If she was so used to me, why not just bring me back? Apart from marriage and love, she could offer me everything else. After all, I hadn't asked for much during our time together. When she showed me even small kindnesses, I would get so happy, hugging her and telling her how much I loved her. She remembered that night by the pool when she forced me to apologize. I had looked at her with disbelief, my eyes red and filled with hurt. I must have been deeply wounded and angry, but she assumed it wouldn't matter. I loved her so much, she thought, that a few sweet words would be enough to win me back. She wouldn't need to put in much effort. If she just called, perhaps I'd eagerly return tomorrow. Feeling confident, she dialed my number. When the call connected, however, a woman's voice answered. "Hello." Bella's grip tightened on her phone, her brow furrowing. "Where's Julian?" There was no immediate reply, but then she heard my voice in the background shouting, "Ouch! Ouch! Lily, be gentle." Bella felt a pang of jealousy and confusion. She assumed the woman on the phone was this Lily and was about to ask who she was when another female voice spoke up. "Lily, don't press so hard." Then the first voice replied, "Got it." Bella felt irritation rising. Unable to maintain her composure, she yelled into the phone, "What are you doing, Julian? What are you doing with those women?" When Bella's angry voice came through the phone, Lily was actually just helping me apply something to my foot. I had twisted my ankle coming down the stairs earlier. Bella had clearly misunderstood the situation. I took the phone from Grace and spoke coolly to Bella. "What is it?" Bella wouldn't let it go. "Who were those two women? Blind dates? You went on blind dates. Didn't you tell me to leave Springfield and not bother you and your fiancé?" I retorted. "I didn't tell you to go on blind dates," she snapped back. "And I definitely didn't tell you to get involved with them. My foot is injured, that's all," I said tiredly. "You're the one jumping to conclusions." I didn't want to argue with her anymore. "Miss Bella, I've done what you asked and stayed out of your life. Please leave me alone now." I hung up before she could reply, and then blocked her number. "Ex-girlfriend?" Grace asked. "Yeah," I nodded. Lily wrinkled her nose. "Seems like your taste wasn't great if you went for someone that intense." It was the first time I'd heard someone describe Bella that way. If Bella ever heard it, she'd probably be furious. I chuckled slightly. Let's not talk about her. It just brings up bad memories. I wasn't sure why Bella had suddenly decided to call. Her wedding to Arthur was only 2 weeks away. Did she really have time to worry about her ex-boyfriend? Maybe she wasn't concerned about Arthur finding out, but I certainly was wary. Dealing with that kind of drama once was more than enough. I never expected Bella would actually try to see me in person the next day. When I saw her standing downstairs near my building, I initially thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. She walked towards me looking troubled and said something completely unexpected. "Come back with me." I was baffled. "Bella, you were the one who told me to leave." Her eyes looked dark. I regret it. What was that supposed to mean? I couldn't understand her logic. "Are you saying you're not marrying Arthur and you want to be with me instead?" I asked, incredulous. "Don't you think this is unreasonable? Why should I leave when you tell me to, and come back just because you call?" "No," she said, her gaze fixed on me. "I am marrying Arthur. But you need to understand, Julian, with your background, you're not suitable for my family. Besides marriage, anything else you want, I'll try my best to give you." She was even more self-centered than I had realized. Feeling weary and defeated, I said, "Miss Bella, please, for the sake of the fact that I once helped you, stop interfering with my life." "All right." I tried to walk away, but she grabbed my wrist. "Julian, this isn't interfering. Didn't you love me? Didn't you say you couldn't live without me? I'm giving you a chance now. Why won't you take it?" I'm usually a calm person and avoid conflict, but I had reached my limit. I angrily pulled my hand away. "Bella, you want me to be your secret lover while you're married? You don't think that's messing with my life?" She acted as if it was perfectly normal. "Everyone in our social circle does things like this. Don't make such a big deal out of it." I replied coldly, "I don't care what other people do. I won't compromise my principles. Besides, Bella, I don't love you anymore." Confident as ever, she smirked. "You don't love me?" "Yeah, right." I decided to shatter her assumption. If I still loved you, I wouldn't be dating other people. I'm getting along very well with my current date. We might even get married soon. "Bella, you're not irreplaceable." She narrowed her eyes, searching my face. Seeing that I was serious, she resorted to threats. "Think carefully about this, Julian. I'm only giving you this one chance. If you don't come back now, you'll never have me again. I turned away from her decisively. I don't want that chance. Offer it to someone else. Seething, she said, fine, don't regret this. She stormed off, but there was nothing for me to regret. I just felt relieved to finally be free from her influence. Being away from her meant I was closer to finding actual happiness. Someone like her who didn't appreciate what she had didn't deserve my affection. The next day, I was at the mall and happened to see Grace inspecting one of the stores. She stood out, surrounded by her staff. It was hard to miss her. I knew this mall was owned by her family, and since she was clearly working, I didn't want to disturb her. I turned to leave, but she called out, Julian. I stopped and she hurried over. Shopping? She asked with a smile. Yeah, I grinned back. I saw you were busy, so I didn't want to interrupt. No worries, she smiled. I just finished my rounds. Would you like to walk around together? Sure, I agreed. As evening approached, I felt I should thank her properly. How about I treat you to dinner? She readily agreed. All right. We were partway through our meal when Lily suddenly rushed in, panting as if she'd run a long distance. Want to join us? I asked, surprised. Hey, you're breaking the rules. Lily complained, plopping down next to her sister with a pout. You met up with Julian without telling me. If someone hadn't posted pictures of you two in the group chat, I'd still be clueless. Grace remained calm. I ran into Julian by chance, Lily. Lily looked skeptical and turned to me. Really? I nodded, and she seemed convinced. Then she turned back to Grace. Sis, we agreed to compete fairly. No secret meetings allowed. Her words made me chuckle. Do you have to be this amusing? Lily smirked. I am this amusing. Why don't you just choose me? I promise I'll make you happy every day. You'll get bored of my sister's serious face eventually. I teased back. So you're openly challenging your sister now? Didn't you say you wouldn't mind if I ended up with both of you? Lily shrugged, adopting a helpless tone. I don't mind, but my sister wants you all to herself, so I'm forced to fight for my chance man. Hearing this, I instinctively glanced at Grace. She was looking at me too, her deep eyes holding an unmistakable possessiveness. My heart gave a little jump, and I quickly looked down, pretending not to notice. When the food arrived, neither sister reached for their own plates initially. One started peeling shrimp for me, and the other began cracking crab claws. Feeling quite pampered, but also a bit awkward, I quickly tried to stop them. I can do it myself, really. You don't have to. Lily, her fingers expertly dismantling a crab leg, glanced at me. No way. Your hands are meant for playing the violin. What if you get poked by a shell? Was she treating me like I was made of glass? I replied, honestly, my hands aren't nearly as valuable as a professional race car driver's. Maybe not, Lily said. But to me, you're the most precious. She certainly knew how to flatter someone, making me laugh. All right then. Thank you for looking out for me. Lily winked. You're welcome. Meanwhile, Grace had placed a small mountain of peeled shrimp on my plate. I quickly put my hand over hers to stop her. That's enough, really. I can't eat all that. Her gaze lingered on my fingers for a moment before meeting mine. Okay, if you want more later, just let me know, and I'll peel them for you. The moment our eyes met, my heart did that strange little jump again. Her dark eyes seemed like they could pull me right in. I calmly withdrew my hand, trying to suppress the fluttery feeling in my chest. Thank you, I said. You're welcome. Grace smiled gracefully. Life continued peacefully after that. I felt relaxed and content each day. About 10 days later, I received an unexpected call from Sophie, Bella's best friend. Julian, Bella's been drinking heavily lately. Can you call her and try to talk some sense into her? I felt exasperated. Miss Sophie, Bella and I broke up quite some time ago. Shouldn't you be asking Arthur to talk to her? Sophie sighed. What good would Arthur do? Bella's upset because of you. I had absolutely no interest in Bella's current situation. If she wants to drink, that's her choice, I stated firmly. Please don't blame me for her actions. I'm not responsible. Seeing no point in continuing the conversation, I ended the call. Sophie sighed again at the disconnected line. She turned back to look at Bella, who was slumped on the couch, drunk, frowning with her eyes closed. Her wedding was supposed to be the next day, but she looked nothing like a happy bride-to-be. If you really can't forget Julian, then go get him back, Sophie urged, unable to bear seeing Bella like this. Don't wait until it's too late and regret it for the rest of your life. Bella, stubborn as ever, retorted, He's just one man. I can have anyone I want. Who does he think he is, expecting me to lower myself for him? Sophie gave up arguing. Fine, keep being stubborn. You'll regret this eventually. After Sophie left, the large living room felt particularly cold and empty. Bella found herself thinking about how whenever she used to get drunk, Julian would patiently make her honey tea and gently coax her to drink it. If she complained of a headache, he would softly massage her temples. He had treated her so well. Even her friends had often remarked on how lucky she was. Whenever she was upset, he would drop everything and fly to see her, no matter the distance. He was never demanding or manipulative like some other men she knew. He never pried into things she didn't want to discuss, simply staying quietly by her side. As long as she turned around, he was always there. Because of this, Bella had never imagined a day would come when Julian would say he didn't love her anymore. Even when she broke up with him, she had assumed he could never truly forget her. Yet his words echoed clearly in her mind. I don't love you anymore. How could he not love her? How could he possibly go on dates with other women? How could he even think about marrying someone else? The thought of another woman holding Julian made it hard for her to breathe. Her chest ached intensely as if pierced by needles. The pain was so sharp that tears streamed down her face. She felt like she was suffocating. No, she couldn't allow Julian to be with another woman. He belonged to her only. She couldn't lie to herself any longer. She did love him. She desperately wanted him back by her side. If he would just come back, she would give him marriage, love, everything she possessed, her power, her money, her status. She would share it all with him. The sudden ringing of her phone jolted her back to reality. It was Arthur. She remembered. She needed to break off the engagement. Hearing that she wanted to cancel the wedding, Arthur was understandably upset, angry, and hurt. Bella, the wedding is tomorrow. How can you just call it off? Have you thought about me at all? How am I supposed to face everyone? Bella couldn't worry about that now. You can tell people you decided you didn't want to marry me, she suggested dismissively. I don't care about the gossip. Knowing her mind was made up, Arthur still pleaded. Is this because of Julian? What's so special about that nobody? He's not even fit to tie my shoes. What do you see in him? Bella's expression hardened. She wouldn't tolerate anyone insulting Julian. Arthur, she warned sharply, I don't want to hear you talk like that again, or don't blame me for being unpleasant. Arthur sounded devastated. Bella, we've known each other for 20 years, and you're threatening me over an outsider? Julian is not an outsider. She stated firmly, he's the man I love. Hearing her declare her love for Julian, Arthur's heart broke. But Bella ended the call, her thoughts consumed entirely by Julian. She felt an urgent need to see him, to tell him she loved him, to bring him home, and to spend the rest of her life with him. Initially, I hadn't taken Sophie's call about Bella too seriously, but when news spread that Bella had actually called off her wedding to Arthur and then showed up back in Liberty City specifically asking me to get back together with her, I was genuinely stunned. Are you serious? I asked her. I'm not crazy, she insisted, her eyes fixed on mine. Julian, I just realized I've been in love with you all this time. I wasn't convinced. Right, like you love having options, I retorted. But Bella, I added firmly, I'm done being your fallback plan. She looked panicked and quickly tried to backtrack. I know I was wrong, and if the things I said hurt you, I sincerely apologize. From now on, I won't make the same mistakes. I'll treat you as an equal. Please just give me one more chance. I'll marry you, Julian. I'll give you anything you want. I'll cherish you and prioritize you above everyone else. I won't see anyone you don't like, and I won't do anything that upsets you. Considering her usually proud nature, hearing her speak like this was extraordinary. But it was too late. Her promises held no appeal for me anymore. No need, I laughed dismissively. Bella, whether it's your apology or your newfound feelings, I don't want them. I had nothing more to say to her. I turned to leave, but she grabbed my arm, her tone more pleading than I'd ever heard. Don't go, Julian. Don't leave me. I really can't be without you. She looked at me, desperation in her eyes, but then seemed to change tactics, acting stubbornly. Promise you'll let me try to win you back, and then I'll let go. I felt exhausted. Is this really necessary? Out of all the people you've dated, you just have to fixate on me. Her eyes dimmed, a bitter smile touching her lips. But I only love you, Julian. These days I can't stop thinking about you. Even when I sleep, I dream about your face. Her words stirred nothing in me. I coldly replied, That's your problem, not mine. Now please let go of my hand. She held on stubbornly. I was completely fed up. Taking advantage of a moment's distraction, I sharply nudged her knee with mine. She winced in pain, her face twisting and her grip loosened. I seized the opportunity and walked away quickly. After recovering, she started to follow me, but just then, Grace suddenly appeared, blocking her path. I wasn't sure why Grace was near my house, but I was grateful for her presence, allowing me to escape the situation. Grace stood protectively in front of me, glaring coldly at Bella. Trying to cause a scene on the street? Don't you have any self-respect? She mocked. Bella retorted defensively. This is between me and my boyfriend. It's none of your business. Grace scoffed. Ex-boyfriend. You should recognize your place and stop acting irrational. I echoed Grace's sentiment. Bella, it's been over 40 days since we broke up. Stop this obsessive behavior. You're only making me dislike you more. Bella's face grew even paler. Instantly, I said to Grace, let's go? There's no point wasting time here. Sure. Grace agreed, and we turned to leave together. From behind us, I heard Bella's low plea. Julian, don't go with her. I pretended not to hear and kept walking. Once we were inside Grace's car, she suddenly suggested, maybe I should arrange a couple of bodyguards for you, Julian. If your ex keeps trying to bother you, someone will be there to protect you. It would make me feel more at ease, too. I have so much going on with work, I can't always be around to watch over you. Isn't that a bit excessive? I politely declined. No, it's not necessary. She won't keep this up for long. I knew Bella's personality. She was used to being admired and getting her way. Being ignored and rejected repeatedly by me wouldn't sit well with her pride for long. Grace considered it for a moment. All right, but if you run into any trouble, call me immediately. Okay, I replied. Then I changed the subject. By the way, why were you near my house today? I just wanted to see you, Grace admitted openly. But originally, I was just planning to watch from a distance and then leave. You know how Lily gets. If she found out I was meeting you alone, she'd probably cause a fuss. I only got out of the car because I saw your ex bothering you. Thinking about Lily's potential reaction made me laugh. Your sister really is something else, I remarked. Grace seemed to tense slightly, her fingers tightening on the steering wheel. She held her breath for a second. Do you like Lily? I thought for a moment. Yeah, I like her, I replied. As soon as the words left my mouth, I noticed Grace's expression darkened slightly, though I was looking straight ahead and didn't fully register it at first. But not in a romantic way. I quickly clarified. It's more like how you feel about a fun, younger sibling. She has a great personality, and it's always entertaining being around her, but I can't really see her as an equal partner, you know? She can be quite immature sometimes. Hearing this, Grace's face visibly brightened. A smile spread across her face, and she nodded in agreement. You're right. She is too childish sometimes. Not really wife material. Her relief and happiness were obvious. I turned to her, amused. Hearing there's no romantic competition from your sister makes you this happy? Of course, Grace responded candidly. I laughed along with her. Aren't you worried Lily will find out and challenge you to a fight? Grace shrugged it off. Nah, she can't win against me. No way. I doubted, looking at her seemingly gentle demeanor, quite unlike Lily's obviously fierce energy. For real, Grace assured me. So don't worry about me. Good, then I won't. I smiled. In the middle of our conversation, my phone pinged with a calendar reminder. Oh, right. I exclaimed, unlocking my phone. I need to get concert tickets. I quickly opened the ticketing app, but I was too late. They sold out in seconds. Frustrated, I slumped back in my seat with a sigh. Sold out again. When will I ever get to see this band live? Grace glanced at my phone screen. Don't worry about it. I can just ask the organizers for tickets. Really? Hope surged within me. Yeah, I'm serious, she assured me confidently. Later that night, Grace called to tell me she had secured the tickets, and the seats were excellent. I was thrilled, unsure how to properly thank her. She chuckled on the phone. If you really want to thank me, let me come with you to the concert, okay? Of course, I agreed immediately. Having company would make the concert even better. The concert a week later was incredible, packed with people and buzzing with energy. It felt more like a massive sing-along session, and I found myself singing loudly with the crowd. After each song, Grace thoughtfully handed me a water bottle. Sip slowly, she advised, so your throat doesn't get sore. Thanks, I said, taking a few small sips, mindful not to drink too much, as getting to the restroom would be a nightmare. Throughout the concert, I noticed Grace's eyes were often on me, rather than the stage. I didn't mind her attention. In fact, I found myself enjoying it. When the concert ended, the exiting crowd was enormous, and we almost got separated. Suddenly, Grace grabbed my hand. "I don't want you getting lost," she explained simply. Her palm felt warm, a comforting sensation against the cool, early autumn air. Looking down at our joined hands, I felt a distinct sense of warmth and connection that I couldn't ignore. Amid the noise of the crowd, I could clearly hear my own heart beating faster than usual, a sure sign that I was genuinely moved. Yes, I realized in that moment, I had developed real feelings for Grace. Instinctively, I held her hand a little tighter. Grace seemed to sense my acceptance and squeezed my fingers gently in return. Just then, someone bumped into her hard from behind, causing her to stumble forward into my arms. Without thinking, I wrapped my arm around her waist to steady her. "Are you all right?" She looked up, her eyes meeting mine, a faint blush rising on her cheeks. "I'm fine," she said with a small smile. "Shall we go?" We continued walking, eventually reaching a less crowded area. Still holding hands, neither of us made any move to let go, and honestly, I didn't want to. It felt natural, comfortable. There was a pleasant feeling lingering between us, and I couldn't help but smile slightly. Grace's low, appealing voice reached my ears. "Why are you smiling?" I looked up at her and countered playfully. "Why are you smiling?" Her smile was wider than mine. "Because I'm happy," she replied, gazing at me warmly. "Julian," she continued softly, "thank you." "For what?" I asked. "For not pushing me away," she said. "So, does this mean we're officially together now? Can I hug you?" I nodded, and she gently pulled me into her embrace. The hug was light, careful, as if holding something precious. After a moment, a thought occurred to me. What about explaining things to Lily? "Don't worry," Grace reassured me. "I'll handle it." "Okay." Even back in the car, Grace didn't let go of my hand. I chuckled. "It's a bit dangerous to drive with one hand, don't you think?" Still not letting go, she pouted playfully. "I just want to hold your hand forever." "All right." I nodded, playing along. She smiled, her expression soft and incredibly beautiful. Feeling a rush of affection, I gently traced the corner of her eye with my finger. "Has anyone ever told you that your eyes are beautiful?" "Plenty of people," she admitted, "but it means more coming from you." She tilted her head slightly, her lips brushing against my palm. The soft contact sent a pleasant tingle through my hand. "Wow," I breathed out. "You could have warned me." "Well, then, Mr. Julian," she asked, her eyes sincere, "may I kiss you?" Seeing her genuine expression, I simply replied, "Sure." The next moment, she leaned in and kissed me. It was a gentle kiss, her lips softly capturing mine. We only pulled apart when we both needed to breathe. Grace drove me home. As we walked towards my building, still hand in hand, I unexpectedly saw two figures standing near the entrance. "When did you start dating my sister, Julian? Are you with her now?" Lily and Bella spoke almost simultaneously, and my head instantly started to ache. This was going to be complicated. Both their expressions were grim. Lily angrily confronted her sister. "I couldn't find you all night. I knew you must have gone to see Julian." "Grace, you promised you wouldn't do anything behind my back, and now you've stolen my potential boyfriend." Grace faced her sister calmly. "Lily, Julian and I are together because we have mutual feelings. To him, you're like a sister." Lily turned to me, her eyes filled with hurt. Is what she's saying true? Although I didn't want to hurt Lily, I had to be honest. I nodded slowly. "But don't worry," I added gently. "Grace and I will both look out for you." Lily looked dejected, mumbling. Potential boyfriend turned into a brother-in-law? Is there anyone as unlucky as me? She looked so comically pitiful that I hadn't even figured out how to console her when suddenly I felt my other arm being grabbed by Bella. "Julian, you can't be with anyone else. You promised me forever," she cried out. Before I could even react, Lily stepped forward and forcefully pushed Bella's hand away. "Get your hands off him." Lily sneered at Bella. "Julian doesn't even like me romantically. You think he'd possibly like someone like you? Just leave before I really get angry." It seemed Lily couldn't direct her frustration at her sister, so she was taking it out on Bella. But Bella ignored Lily completely, her attention fixed solely on me. For the first time, I heard her plead in such a low, desperate voice. Julian, please don't be with her. Come back to me. I'll treat you right this time. Anything you want. Even if you asked for the moon, I'd find a way to get it for you." Her words didn't move me at all. I told her calmly, "The only thing I want is for you to disappear from my life and never show up again." Bella's face turned ashen, her voice trembling. "You have to be so heartless?" Grace gently pulled me back slightly. "Miss Bella," she addressed her coolly, "when Julian loved you, you didn't cherish him. You have no right to beg him now." Bella's eyes, filled with pain, remained fixed on me as she continued to plead. "Julian, don't be so cruel to me, please." I wanted to end this interaction definitively. "Bella, stop clinging to me. The way you're acting is honestly quite disturbing. Seeing you like this just makes me uncomfortable. Get it? I'm not good at harsh confrontations, so that was the strongest rejection I could muster." Bella clearly felt the weight of my disgust. Her eyes welled up with sorrow, and her lips trembled. Still, she didn't give up immediately. For the next month, she continued to follow me around, finding moments to express her love and regret. Her persistence was relentless, almost driving me crazy. It wasn't until one night when Grace stayed over at my place, and Bella stood downstairs, smoking cigarette after cigarette through the night, that she finally seemed to accept defeat. After that night, she disappeared from my life. I heard later that she went back to Springfield and spent her time frequenting clubs and drinking heavily. Apparently, even Arthur, the fiancé she had dumped, tried to reconcile with her, but she refused to see him. Their drama wasn't my concern anymore, and I soon put it out of my mind. After Grace and I officially started dating, Lily didn't cause any direct problems between us, but things were understandably awkward for a little while. I worried that I had damaged their sisterly bond, so I decided to talk to Lily directly. I found her sitting on some steps one day, smoking a cigarette. She looked up at me lazily. "Here to rub it in?" I sat down a short distance away. "Not at all. You're my friend, Lily, and I genuinely hope you're happy." She took a drag, flicked the ash, and then gave me a mischievous grin. "Want to make me happy? Break up with my sister and date me instead." Once again, I was speechless. Seeing my reaction, she waved her hand dismissively. "I'm kidding. Relax. My sister is a much better fit for you. She's stable and reliable. You'll be happy with her." She paused, then added, "As for me, don't worry, I'm adaptable. I'll get over it soon enough." But even as she smiled, I could see a hint of sadness in her eyes. "Lily," I started, wanting to offer some comfort, "you're a really great person. Anyone who spends time with you can see that." Her eyes looked a little red, and she quickly turned her head away. After a moment, she asked, "Do you know when my sister and I first actually saw you?" I was surprised. "Wasn't it at the blind date?" Lily shook her head. "Nope, not even close." She explained that she first saw me in Australia 3 years earlier. She was there for a racing competition, and Grace was there on business. Coincidentally, they were staying at the same hotel as Bella and me. At that point, I wasn't officially Bella's boyfriend yet. Lily had watched me constantly trying to get Bella's attention, bringing her things, always being attentive, even though Bella often seemed indifferent. I apparently never gave up, just kept being kind to her. Lily couldn't understand why someone would be so persistent without receiving much encouragement. She even made a bet with Grace. "I bet he gives up within 2 weeks," she'd said. Grace had disagreed, saying, "Maybe not." Grace's intuition proved correct. About a month later, during that chaotic shooting incident on the streets, I ended up taking a bullet meant for Bella. Lily vividly remembered seeing my white shirt stained red with blood as I lay injured in Bella's arms. The image had apparently left a deep impression on her. Grace was equally shocked. They couldn't comprehend how someone could be so selflessly devoted, risking their life like that. They had discreetly checked on me in the hospital afterwards and only left Australia once they confirmed I was stable. But for the next 3 years, the memory of that incident and of me never really faded for either of them. Later, purely by chance, they found out that Bella and I had broken up and that I was planning to return to Liberty City to start dating again. Neither sister wanted to miss the opportunity, so they decided to both show up for the blind date and compete fairly for my attention. Losing to Grace was disappointing for Lily, she admitted, but she accepted it. One was her sister, the other was the man she had developed feelings for. She genuinely wished us both happiness. I was stunned. I had no idea that my history with Grace and Lily stretched back so far. Still processing this revelation, I watched as Lily stood up, putting on her usual playful demeanor. "All right," she declared. "From today on, you're officially my brother-in-law. I'll definitely be drinking extra toasts at your wedding to my sister." She walked past me, left hand in her pocket, waving her right hand casually over her shoulder. "Okay, I'll leave you two lovebirds alone. Don't want to be the third wheel." Just then, I noticed Grace walking towards us. As Lily passed her sister, she gave her a playful bump on the shoulder and raised her chin cheekily. "Oops, didn't see you there, sis." Grace just rolled her eyes at her sister's antics. In her typical proud way, Lily added, "Wishing you and your future hubby a lifetime of happiness." She started humming a tune and strutted off. Grace watched her sister leave, a soft chuckle escaping her lips. I stepped forward and linked my arm with hers, sensing her relief now that things were out in the open with Lily. She gave me a quick peck on the temple. "What do you feel like eating for dinner tonight?" she asked. "Could you make that steamed fish dish you make so well?" I requested. "Of course," she agreed readily. The sunset painted the sky in shades of red as we strolled along, hand in hand. "So you were interested in me 3 years ago, huh?" I teased. "Did Lily tell you everything?" Grace gazed at me softly. "Back in Australia, I remember thinking if I could somehow end up with you, I'd feel like my life was complete. Luckily, fate was kind and eventually brought you to me." Smiling back at her, I suggested playfully, "How about I give you a little reward for loving me all this time?" Grace raised an eyebrow curiously. "What kind of reward?" I leaned in close and whispered in her ear, "I happened to find some black lace lingerie earlier. What do you think?" Her cheeks flushed pink, and she replied in a slightly husky voice, "Okay." I had a feeling it was going to be quite a memorable night.